Hey everybody, this is Tom from VermiBag. This can be part of the weekly update for the VermiBag totes that I have running. Now I do have one in the 10-gallon tote, and this is the one that I put in the 14-gallon tote. And this is kind of what prompted some of the changes in the VermiBag, because as you can tell, once I start getting a lot of weight on these 14-gallon, since this thing is so tall, there's not a lot of support here. Now I could add a small wood piece, or if I wanted to, slide a little piece in here that would help support this, but it's starting just to deform the rubber tote here. I can see that rubber tote kind of collapsing in just a little bit right here. And I think over time that's only going to get worse. So I'm really changing the tote for it'll really fit into the 10-gallon Rubbermaid or the Husky, because those can support the weight no issues, or into a wood stand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this 14-gallon tote out of here, or the VermiBag tote out of the 14-gallon tote. Too many totes here. But I'm going to pull the material out of here and go ahead and place it into the VermiBag tote that I have the new dividers into. And then I'll do our updates and stuff from now on with this one and the one that I have in the 10-gallon. Now the 10-gallon one doesn't have the dividers, so it'd be kind of interesting to see the difference between the two of those as well. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and bring the camera in close. We'll take a peek inside this 14-gallon and just see how the worms are doing before I transfer them in. So let's open this up and see what it looks like inside. Last week, the worms were just well distributed throughout the area and stuff. They look good. Nothing spectacular per se, but again, the numbers aren't huge in this bag either. You can see again, I have the burlap on the top, and you can tell they've been doing quite a bit of business up here because there's a lot of castings on the top. Now this has been sitting over in the light just for a little bit, so I'm sure most of the worms have gone under a little bit, but if we dig down under the edges here, there's a nice African. Again, the material down deeper is definitely starting to get worked over pretty decent. No big concentration of worms there. I don't see much food at all though, so I definitely need to feed them. Yeah, there was a little bit of food or something right there. I can feel it's really, really moist. And there's definitely a congregation of worms around it. They're going to get all churned up here anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and dig deep all the way down to the bottom. Go to this other side. Moisture level is really good in here, for sure. Again, the worms are, just pretty well distributed. No huge concentration of them, but definitely very, very evenly dispersed throughout the bag. They look real healthy. There's a leftover part of a cucumber I think I just put in a few days ago, but for the most part, other than that cucumber that I just put in, I don't see much food. There's a little bit of coffee here. And it's starting to get that more of that earthy smell to it now too. It's starting to decompose enough that there's that really nice smell that you always like. Yeah, overall, the worms look really good. No huge concentrations of them again anywhere. But so I'm going to take the contents of this and transfer it all into that new VermiBag tote in the wood stand that has the dividers in it. We can kind of see how the dividers work and eventually do a migration on it and see how it works. Okay, here's the contents of that VermiBag that was in the 14-gallon tote into the tote that's in the wood stand. So you can tell here, this tote is just slightly larger. It's a little bit deeper, so I definitely have just a little bit more room in it. I got a good 3-4 inches, I suppose, of room. And once these worms start composting this stuff, this is all going to settle. So I just evenly dispersed them throughout all 3 areas. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is feed this. There's not a lot of food in here other than the bedding itself. So just out of curiosity's sake, I'm going to go ahead and put feedings on both sides and then see if the worms will start working their way over to these sides versus the concentration of them in the center. Everything I have is frozen, pretty heavy duty frozen. Banana peels and looks like there's leftover peppers. I'll go about like that. And I'm going to go ahead and just use a little of the existing bedding here just to cover it up a little bit so I don't get too many bugs coming in trying to lay eggs or anything on this if it's uncovered completely. Let's do it about like that. I'm going to go ahead and put this burlap back on there. Again, worms like this. It can be a little bit of a pain sometimes, but I don't know if I'd recommend buying it per se, but if you have some, yeah, use it. And that's what I'm doing. I have some, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. Like that, and I'm going to go ahead and zip this thing up. And we'll take a look at it later and see if those worms have moved at all. This is Tom from VermiBag. Till next week, ciao.